So let me ask you a question. Why do you think we're seeing a rapid increase in the past few years
I can explain that as well.
of young people identifying as trans?
What's that? What's that signify?
The history of left-handedness.
This is the history of left-handedness in the United States. Do you see what happens here?
It levels out. It goes up
Jumps
and levels
in
out.
levels.
We used to treat people who were left-handed as satanic, as the devil, all that kind of shit. You remember that, right? And that's why there was a lot of people who didn't record themselves as being left-handed. And then, boom, when we stopped doing that after the 1880s and in the 1900s, it spiked. Now, this spike isn't because there was a whole bunch of indoctrination or Alex Jones was like, oh, left-handed ideology, everyone has become left-handed. This has nothing to do with that. This is naturally how many left-handed people there were. And then it plateaued. We are in a situation right now where it is safer than ever for people to come out and if they're queer, bisexual, whatever it is, and because of that, they feel safer expressing that. That's why Gen Z of all
I was concerned there was a
generations-
trans genocide.
Yeah. So here's
This is the actual statistics on people increasing. You can see the red one. That is Gen Z. That is the amount of people who in Gen Z, it's skyrocketing. It looks like they're identifying more than ever because their generation feels more comfortable talking about this kind of stuff.
So you don't think that
media
there's like
about
a trans genocide or anything like that?
I don't think that there's a trans indoctrination that is coming through media.
Genocide, I said it.
Yes, and I'm saying that I don't think there's a trans indoctrination coming through media that is programming kids to become trans. I think that's ridiculous.
So a couple of days, I came across this video between Tim Pool and Leanne from the Surf. And the whole debate was about the rise of trans suicide in America. That due to the way people have been indoctrinated, I mean, at least that was from Tim Pool's point of view, that due to the way people have been indoctrinated into the trans idea or trans agenda, it has increased the number of suicide within people in the trans community. And it has also increased the percentages of trans people or of people who identifies as LGBTQ+. And I love the example that Leanne used to explain the rise or the perceived rise of trans people or of LGBT people in the community. Like you must have seen in the video. Whenever people feel comfortable with themselves, whenever people feel comfortable talking about something, whenever people feel like if they talk about something, people are not going to shun at them, people are not going to frown at them, they will openly say what is really going on with them. But if people send a sign of resentment, if people send any sign of discrimination, if people sense that whatever they want to say, people will frown upon or people will frown at it, they will not say it. So the fact that we might think that there are more trans people or there are more people who identify as LGBTQ+ in our community today doesn't mean that there is a rise or there is this massive rise. Now, there might have been some rise in it, like in the general population also, there has been a rise in it. Likewise, the trans people or same-sex people or people who identify as such. But remember, it's still a very tiny little fraction of the general population. It hasn't even gone anywhere. And the only reason that we might think that there is a rise is because people are more comfortable talking about it. It's because the younger generation is more accommodating to ideas like this. It's because when you tell your friends, I am a member of the LGBTQ community, they wouldn't even care, right? Like, it's no big deal to them. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's okay. Let's move on, right? So people feel comfortable talking about stuff like this. And I hope people like Tim Pool will understand that hating other people, that trying to deny that trans people exist, is not going to make them disappear. We tried that in Africa and it didn't work. Okay. African leaders or African society tried that before, but it didn't work. With all the harsh laws and all the anti-gay bills that are being passed in Africa, there are still same-sex people in Africa. It hasn't disappeared. It won't disappear. It might just make people go underground. It might just make people stop talking about it altogether, but it hasn't disappeared. It's still there.